This is where the fun begins. Are you ready for fan-driven Razorback talk? For the fans, by the fans. This is Inside the Hog Pen with your hosts, Razorback Zach and Marcus MC Carlton. What's up, everybody? Razorback Zach hanging out with you tonight, and alongside my broadcast partner and the glue that holds the whole thing together, Marcus MC Carlton, on a podcast exclusive. The 2023.
The first of many, hopefully.
But hopefully they're a lot better than what we're
I hope the mood is not as dark as what this one's going to be.
Oh, my goodness. It is the 2023 football season wrap-up. And when we started this about 13, 14 weeks ago, we were in high spirits. We were lively. We were energetic. And as
we were drinking the Kool-Aid, man.
Oh, my, yeah. And if this video that we're recording it on StreamYard ever gets released, we are both sitting in the dark, hiding our faces. I mean, I look like out of the witness protection program if you guys ever see this video. But, man, let me go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and get this started.
Let me talk to you.
Oh, man. I don't think anybody, MC, I don't think anybody expected this.
I sure didn't. I mean, I thought there might be some struggles, but the struggles that I thought we might have, you can go back in our archives and look. And I talked about this, the questions mainly being on defense. And now I did mention a little bit about the wide receivers, but that ended up not being anywhere near the most concerning issue.
No, and I think everybody got blindsided. Now, I would just like to stake on my high horse here, MC, because I was not ever on the Dan Enos train.
Never. Nope.
I was never on it. I will defend that to my dying day. But you cannot. We said this in a couple of shows ago on Inside the Hog Pen on our weekly show. I think we're starting to see just how much of an impact Barry Odom actually had on this football staff and on Sam Pittman, because I've never three words you never say in public as a head football coach. 3 words. You never say, I don't know. What?
And that's replaced turn that damn jukebox on as his catchphrase.
I called into, so down here in Central Arkansas, I don't know if you get the buzz up there in the NEA.
Yeah, I listen on the web sometimes.
But they do a thing on Monday mornings after football games called Razorback Graffiti. Well, and it's one sentence only about Razorback football.
Yeah.
And I called in as Larry Culpepper today. And it wasn't ice cold Dr. Pepper. It was ice cold jukebox hip. Ice cold jukebox hip.
That's pretty good.
And you started off strong against Western Carolina. You kind of stumbled a little bit against Kent State, but you still got business done. And that's when the wheels fell off.
They really did, man. I mean, and there were looking back at it now, of course, hindsight's always 20/20. But if you look back at that Kent State game now, there were red flags there, but everybody just kind of chalked it up to, it's early season. You've got new guys in new positions, because they had kind of shuffled the offensive line around a little bit. And we all, myself included, I mean, I made excuses for them. And then you come out against BYU, you jump out 14-0, and I'm thinking, all right, everything's cool. We got was it a kickoff return or a punt return by Satania? I don't remember which one but
it was a return. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a special teams touchdown. So you had AJ Green broke one for like 70, and then you had Isaiah Satania he gets the special teams return. You're up 14-0 early in the first quarter, and I'm thinking, oh man, we're fine. We're in good shape.
And I thought the same thing. And I was okay, all right, we've hit our stride.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know what happened.
I don't know, man. I mean,
and it was at that point almost halftime.
Yeah.
And the wheels everything just started to epically collapse.
Now we were giving Pittman hell because he says, I don't know. And we're sitting here saying the same thing. But the difference is we don't get paid $6.5 million a year to know what's going on or what's causing the issues.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be the ones out here saying, I don't know.
Now, at the same time, okay, everybody at the beginning of the season looked at that 4-game stretch and went, 8-4. And that was your 4 losses right there. Okay. If you really broke it down at the beginning of the season, those 4 losses right there, 8-4, that's a great season compared to where we've been.
I mean, 8-4 would have been a nice way to bounce back because let's face it, end of 2022, you limped into the bowl game. Mm-hmm. You tried your damnedest to give it to Kansas and they wouldn't take it. So you end up 7-6. You come back. If you could have come back with an 8-4, I think everybody feels pretty good.
Well, yeah, because again, you're improving. It's a better record than the year before. But did you know, and I pulled this stat up earlier today, for the 5th time in the last 7 seasons, we have posted a losing record. 5th time in 7 seasons, dude. And we've been in the SEC, almost 32 years now?
92. So 92 was the first football season.
Yeah, so. My sister was born in 92. So yeah, about 32 years. Did you know that 14 times since joining the SEC, 14 seasons have been losing records since joining the SEC?
That's just
it blows your mind.
And here's another mind blower along those same lines. The majority of those have come post Petrino because Nutt only had, that I can think of, he only had 2 losing SEC records. Now I'm going off the top of my head.
And those are
this in front of me.
So his 2, the biggest glaring losing seasons that he had were on the back end of his tenure.
Yeah.
I think it was 05 and 06. Or maybe 05. It was 05 and 07.
And right around I know Matt Jones's senior year, we ended up going. At that time, you didn't play 12 games. You played 11 regular season games. So Matt Jones's senior year, we went 5-6.
Yeah.
And then I think the year after that, which would have been D-Mac's freshman year.
Which would have been
05?
05, because he and I – no. Yeah.
06 was the really good year. That was when they went to Atlanta and lost to Florida in the SEC title game.
Was he here in 09? Or am I –
No, 07 2007 was D-Mac's last game.
Yeah, so season. it was 05, 06, 07 was the struggle, what I like to call the struggle years.
Yeah. You had that one really good year in 06 with the 10 wins and all the drama around the Springdale 5 and McFadden being runner-up for the Heisman and all that.
And we're going to get into all that coaching talk later.
Yeah. And so then after that, Petrino's first year,
they
went
go 5-7,
5-6, and then I think you won 2 or 3 SEC games out of 8.
And in his first season, he was 3-5.
Okay, there you go. So outside of that, and then that was it, man. That was it from Nutt and Petrino.
Yeah,
and then but since then, man, it's just been a disaster.
I mean, here and here's the thing, MC, and you and I both diehard Hog fans,
right?
Okay, and realistically, we want the Hogs to win everything.
Yeah,
everything. But realistically speaking, given the division we were in,
right?
Because now there are no more divisions now that regular season 2023 is wrapped up. You've got the inclusion of Texas and OU now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to understand Arkansas is maybe 6, 7 8-win team, and you have that 10-win season thrown in there occasionally. But what we saw this year, you struggle against Kent State, you collapse against BYU, and then you come back and you play LSU down to the wire.
I mean, you had your chances in that game.
Okay. That 4-game stretch, those games, all 4 of those games were very, very, were closer than I think anybody would have imagined.
Yeah, I would agree.
You come out of Alabama, you go to Florida. Or no, I'm sorry. You have Mississippi State at home, right?
Yeah, which was the turd of all turds.
Oh, we're not even going to mention that game because, good God, my head exploded that Saturday. You go to the Swamp, you play like the team should have been playing all season, and you win for the first time in the Swamp. Then you come home and you completely blow it against Auburn. You struggle against FIU, and then you get ran out of your own freaking stadium against the Dork. You can tell. MC, did you watch the last 3 games? Did you not?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did it not look like that the team as a whole just gave up?
They were out of F's to give.
And you could tell Pittman didn't care.
Once he got the word, he was safe.
Let me ask you about this real quick. Do you fire a coach after one bad season? I got okay. I don't want your head to explode. I have a point what I'm about to ask.
Okay. All right. So it's not a clear-cut yes or no. It's kind of a gray area because if the one losing season comes in year 4, as you are obviously on a downward spiral, then I don't think it's out of line because in the case of Pittman, and I'll let you make your point here in a second, but this is all part of my answer. I mean, we saw what he did in year 2, 9-4, go to the Outback Bowl, beat a nationally known blue blood in the bowl game. From that point, man, you had the first 2 games of the 2022 season, which was Cincinnati and South Carolina. Both of those looked pretty good. Both of those were quality wins at that point early in the year. But from that A&M game on in 2022, man, is just a kamikaze nosedive. I mean,
the team's never been the same. So here's the point. Here's the point I'm trying to make. First off, to the people, and we may have to hit the expletive button on this one because I'm about to be raw and unedited. I'm about to go Eddie Murphy raw here. To the people
I can bleep it. It's fine.
To the people that want Hunter Yurachek fired because of the football team, because of keeping Sam Pittman, that don't acknowledge the fact that every other sport is doing well. You've got 3 SEC coaches of the year, I think. You have the soccer coach, the volleyball coach, and I think Lance Harder got his last coach of the year before he retired, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong.
That sounds right.
But you have 3 SEC coaches of the year, okay? 2 that we know of. Soccer's was in the postseason. Volleyball's in the postseason. They're hosting for the first time since 2006. So to the people that are saying, fire Hunter Yurachek, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's liable to this, I just have one thing to say. Shut your bitch ass up.
Okay, let me provide a counterpoint to your point.
Okay.
What all those sports that you named off,
right?
Volleyball, soccer, track, baseball. Okay, let's take baseball out. It doesn't apply to the point I'm about to make.
I think I know where you're going.
The other ones you made, what do they all have in common?
They're not all cash cows.
They're non-revenue producing sports.
They're non-revenue.
Who provides the revenue for those sports?
But if you watch the numbers, like their attendance and their, the crowds are there.
Yeah, attendance. I mean, soccer, volleyball, all those they have.
But yes,
I mean,
I 100%
even
agree.
gymnastics had great attendance.
Here's the flip side to that coin. Okay. Yes, I just told everybody to shut up. However, here's the flip side to that coin. How in the hell, as an athletic director, number one, do you come out publicly and support a coach that literally has no idea what he's doing, no control of this team? They're crapping the bed in the football field.
I mean, he's openly admitted he doesn't know what he's doing.
And then, openly admitted he doesn't know what he's doing. And then after showing support for that head football coach, you are dead silent. There hasn't been a word. There has not been a single peep out of the AD's office.
His Twitter timeline is suddenly a ghost town.
So, yes, while people, the negative Nancy's do have a point that he is liable and he needs to be held accountable. You don't fire an athletic director over one sport.
Okay, so here's my analogy that I've been using all over Twitter. If you've been on my timeline, you've seen this. And in honor of the upcoming Army-Navy game.
Yeah, boy.
I'm gonna throw this out there. So I'm looking at all the sports in the athletic department as a fleet of ships. Okay. You got your battleship, you got your destroyer, you got your aircraft carrier.
You're talking to an Army guy and you went Navy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, it fits the analogy better.
I got you.
So if the captain of your biggest ship in the fleet is inept and openly admitting he doesn't know what to do, kind of like somebody is, and I think football is, I mean, let's make no mistake about it. It's the biggest ship in the fleet.
It is by far.
So does I guess in the Navy, you may have to correct me here. I know you're not a Navy guy, but you can probably correct me on this. So I guess like an admiral would be over all the captains.
You got it. It's a fleet admiral. Yeah, you got it.
Okay. So the fleet admiral, if he doesn't fix the problem with the inept captain in the biggest ship in the fleet, does he not carry some blame?
No, he does. And I'm not saying that Hunter Yurachek is blameless, because this is the moment where he needs to be in front of the cameras, or he needs to be on Twitter, or he needs to be doing something, some kind of PR to calm the fan base down.
Yeah.
And to reassure the fan base that he knows what's going on and he's going to right the ship, because right now the football program is a complete free fall. But here, since we're on the topic of revenue and football revenue, I posed a question to you earlier today, and I want to go ahead and pose it here, because we did put a post out about the football program on our Facebook page, and thank you to everybody that commented, because we got
great feedback off of that.
We got great feedback. But here's the question: all right, when it comes to money for the coach's buyout, to the revenue for the athletic department, where does the average fan's money go? This was brought up on Central Arkansas radio here this morning. For example, the money that you spend to buy tickets, the licensed merchandise that you buy at Hog Heaven or Hog Man's Game Day Superstore, et cetera, et cetera. Where does that money go? And can we, I mean, would it make a difference if we started boycotting and did not buy the merchandise, didn't go to the athletic events? Here's the deal. Shane Beamer at South Carolina is 5-6, 5-7 now that the regular season's over. Okay. Playing for a bowl, yes. And I understand the difference in our program and theirs is they're on the rise and we're sinking. The point is, though, the fans were still there. The students came out. It was loud. It was energetic. And then you show a picture of our stadium, not even in the second quarter, and there's maybe you could fit everybody on one side of that stadium. There was that little people there.
– Well, and, playing, and this is a different – I mean, it's 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 a different discussion for a different day. But the one argument that playing in Little Rock kind of has to stand on is that final in the years that we have a final home game on Thanksgiving weekend. That one kind of made sense to have it in Little Rock because 95% of the students are gone off campus. So you're not going to have a student section. And it just kind of made sense to have that one down there. But I think even if you put that game in Little Rock, yeesh, man, there's still it's going to look about like the season opener did, about 40,000 because of the way things went this year. It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating as all get out. But people can't see us right now, but we're both just kind of sitting here, doing the face palm and scratching our heads and trying to make sense of this, of where the train went off the tracks.
And you have the Facebook comment section pulled up in the post. What people aren't going to see during on this episode, I've got the stats in front of me from 2022 and 2023, and
they're ugly.
Oh
they're
my
ugly.
God! I mean, it you thought it, guys. Listen, and girls, sorry about that. You guys thought it was bad on the field, but on paper, it's worse.
Well, and I remember back in our preseason shows, and we were pointing out certain stats, and we we're like, "This has got to improve this year," and nothing improved. Nothing improved. Everything was worse. Third down conversions was worse. Fourth down conversions were worse.
So here's the thing. In 2022, your rushing yardage, your rushing totals, yards gained per rush, total yard was 34.25 for the season, 3,425.
Yeah.
In 2023, 21.19, 2,119. All right. Touchdowns, rushing. This is the glaring part. Okay.
Yeah.
Rushing touchdowns in 2022 was 27. Any guesses to how many we had in 2023?
Not near that.
9. Single digits. 9.
You're not even getting one a game.
9.
You're getting a rushing touchdown in 75% of your games. You should have at least one rushing touchdown every single solitary game. There's other games. There's other games like, Western Carolina and Kent State and yes, BYU. You should have multiple rushing touchdowns in those games.
Here's another one. 2022, you ran through the whole season, you ran 962 plays. You had an average of 6.5 yards per play, and total offense averaged about 470 yards a game.
Yeah,
okay?
That's pretty solid. 470. That's pretty solid.
2023, you had 795 total plays. Average per play was 5 yards. And that's going forward. We're not going to count the yards going backwards.
Oh my God. There were so many plays. I mean, KJ was running for his life from week one. I mean, there's just so much frustration, man. I mean, it's just
let's turn to the
I don't even know what to say.
Let's let the fans speak. So last night we put, and I understand it was a little late, but we were sitting here just talking about it. So we put a post out. By the way, big shout out to who we like to now call Hambone. She was Swish, but she's now Hambone. Sarah Vogel, who's our third co-host, she said, I'm not in this one tonight. I've pretty much said F you to the football team. And our other social media manager, Loki, who runs our Facebook page for getting these out. MC, what are the fans saying?
Oops.
What are the fans? You're good. What are the fans saying about how they feel about the state of the football program?
Well, so I'm going to read the post that Loki put out there, and then I'll start in with the comments. He says, we here at ITHP want to know your thoughts on the Arkansas Razorback football season. From the excitement of finally beating Florida in the swamp to the heartbreak of losing the boot and the battle line and everything in between. Sorry. Sound off in the comments below. Say everything that's on your mind, but please don't say I don't know. So well played there by Loki with the post. John Carter, first one up. He says, "I see no different outcome next year." Hard to argue with that. I'm having a hard time finding anything to get me the least little bit excited about.
Unfortunately, I made a deal with Katie, and I said, because I was not about to, make the bet. Hey, if Arkansas wins, because we're not going to. What I did tell her, what I did say, was that if Texas can keep it to 14 points, if they beat us only by 14 points or less, the next show that we do on Inside the Hog Pen, I will wear a Texas hat or a Texas shirt.
God.
She countered that and said, if they score more than 21 and they blow us out, talking about Arkansas, I have to come on the show and do the whole hook them horns, and I can't turn my hand down.
You have to do too sweet, huh?
I do. I have to do the too sweet, but I have. I'm trying
but
to.
You can't call it that. You have to.
I can't call it that. I have to do the other thing, and I don't want to do the other thing.
Lord have mercy.
But I agree. I agree with John. I don't see anything positive going into next year. I mean, you're going to beat UAPB, but who else are you going to beat?
So here's another one. Kevin Edward commented. He said, the Hogs had so much potential at the start of the season. KJ was on a watch list, Rocket too. Next thing you know, injuries and boneheaded coaching ruined the season. The recruiting will be hurt for possibly a few seasons. We don't have the NIL money that other schools can offer, so I really do not know where we can realistically go from here. There needs to be a miracle this offseason, or it will be time to coach shop again. That's a pretty solid take from Kevin. And if you look back, beginning of the season, you had KJ and you had Rocket. I mean, they were deemed like the most dynamic duo returning in the conference.
Chris Doering. Everybody knows Chris Doering from SEC Network. Okay. Guy likes to, and here's your next edit. The guy likes to shit on the Hogs every chance he gets.
He kind of does. He's a Florida guy. I mean, I get it.
First one that come out and publicly name KJ and Raheem Sanders, because I don't have the gut to call him.
Yeah, he's the bottle rocket now.
He was the first one to name them the best backfield in the country, not in just the SEC, but in the country.
Yeah, and he won't go there again. He won't go out on that limb.
Oh no,
and take Arkansas like that again, even if it is warranted or deserved. He won't do it.
No.
And who could blame him? Because now, I mean, he kind of looks like a fool now,
We all do. Every single person in Razorback Nation does.
Yeah. I mean, just rolling right along with these comments, Eric Price, buddy of mine from up here in the NEA. Let's see what he says here. First off, several single possession losses, and those were without Rocket. That should give hope. And then he goes full Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friends. The team looked like garbage after Florida. That tells me one of two things. One, the players quit on the coaches, teammates, and fans. Or two, Pittman's give a damn went out the window when he told he was safe. Either way, and you combine that with the I don't know what to do, in quotes, when trying to decide to punt or to go for it, and the what do you have to do to get excitement when recruiting for the early signing period and portal, to which he answered, I don't know. Totally unacceptable. So that last statement was what Pittman said when Trey Biddy asked him that question about how do you generate excitement going into the offseason, which I thought was a legit question. I didn't think he was out of line in the least way.
And for as much crap as I give Trey Biddy, the guy's asking the hard questions and wants the answer. Yeah. He's asking the questions that the fans want answers to.
Well, I think everybody deserves an answer to that, because you're coming off of just a horrible, horrible season when your expectations were pretty high. I mean,
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and yes, it was the first win in program history down at the Swamp. But looking back now, it doesn't mean anything.
No, absolutely not.
You know, and again, people hate me for saying this. Yes, KJ, great quarterback. Okay, broke all kinds of records, but those records don't mean a damn thing with a 4-7 or 4-8 record.
No, it's a hollow win.
Those are nobody. It's like, and again, I've said this from day one. It's just like the 98 season. Nobody remembers that we were literally on the cusp of a national title and we went undefeated going into Tennessee.
Right.
Everybody remembers one thing from that 98 season: the Sterner fumble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Nobody's going to remember 2023 for KJ because of the way the football team epically, tragically collapsed.
Well, and we were talking about
kid.
Oh, I hate it for him because I mean his name is in the record books. We were talking about this back when we did our preseason shows. We were talking about, hey, he's so close on this. I mean, there were like 7 records that he was close on. And we compared his 2021 and 2022 stats to what he would need to break these records. And it was going to be very pedestrian, very average compared to the previous 2 years. And I don't know how many of them he ended up breaking. He ended up breaking a few of them, but not as many as he could, as what we first thought he was going to break. We thought he was going to completely rewrite the record books, and he got his fair share. But had he been able to have the kind of statistical year that he had in 2022 and 2021, he would have shattered all of those records that we were discussing in the preseason. And it just didn't happen.
No, and now, I'm going to switch. Any other comments we need to get to?
I got one more I want to throw in here real quick from Dennis Gamble.
All right.
And I think it's going to tie into where you're going next. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and read it. Dennis Gamble says retaining Pittman as head coach makes no sense. When you look at what Mississippi State and Texas A&M dismissing their coaches for much less, could it be that Yurachek and Pittman are jointly responsible for mismanaging NIL? Is that solely owned by Yurachek? I think it's a huge combo of problems. Pittman's lack of leadership and management skills, disharmony in the locker room, NIL, all of these things fall one way or the other at Pittman. That's a fair point. 2024 season will likely be no different or better than this one. Next 2 to 4 seasons will likely be dismal for Arkansas. It's hard to argue that.
It's hard to argue that, but here's the thing is Texas A&M is paying Jimbo $26,000 a day for 8 years. A day, not a week, not a month, a day.
Bro, I'm not a greedy person. You could give me a 1 week, 7 days of that, and I'm good, man. You'll never hear from me again.
Bro, just give me 24 hours of it.
I mean, I'd take that. I'd take the 24 hours.
Give me
Absolutely.
24 hours. That's all I need.
Well, and the other thing with that
buyout,
buyout, I read this today, and I read it from like 4 different outlets, so I'm going to take it as being good to go. That buyout is unconditional. So if let's say he got hired tomorrow at Houston, because that's one of the jobs that's open right now, he could take the Houston job, make his paycheck there, and then he's still getting the $76 million buyout from A&M.
Well, hell, Indiana just fired their coach.
Yeah.
For $20 million buyout.
Yeah, $20 million buyout at Indiana,
You're trying to tell me
they have no football history.
You're trying to tell me we don't have $16 million? You want to completely destroy the luster that is Bud Walton Arena for millions more, but you don't have $16 million?
Yeah,
to buy out a coach? Because
there's something on that just doesn't add up, and I don't know
what kind of pictures does Hunter Yurachek or does Sam Pittman have on Yurachek? I mean, something and we may never know the extent of what actually is going on within this program. But and I've said this many times. My father always tells me, and always told me growing up, people's perception of you is their reality of you. So however you're perceived, that's how people are going to look at you. And right now, we're the laughing stock of not just the SEC, but of the country right now. What y'all don't understand, and MC, you and I have talked round and round off air on this. Mm-hmm. The program was in a nosedive. It's in free fall now.
Yeah,
we are
perceived around.
You got Tom Petty playing. You got Tom Petty playing free fall in the background as you're just crashing and burning.
It's we're perceived as a poverty program because of the decisions that were made to move forward in 2024 for whatever reason, whether justified or not. This is who you are right now, and that's a bitter pill for those of us that not just lived through, but front row experienced, not just the Petrino years, but also, when Nutt was here. I mean, say what you will about Nutt, and I've given him my fair share of hell. I have given that dude such a hard time, but the numbers don't lie. When you look at his overall win-loss record, I think most fans would give a finger and a couple toes to have that kind of win-loss record right now.
Well, and here's the thing, and I want you to take this for what it's worth. I've been paying a little bit more attention to Mike Irwin here lately,
right?
And the stories that
as have I. Yep.
And I really, really want him on the show. He was telling a story, I think it was yesterday or today, about Nutt possibly replacing Frank Boreals as AD.
I saw that. Yeah.
And we miffed.
As AD. Yep.
And we miffed on it. Can you imagine where this program would sit today? Nutt become AD and not Jeff Long. We wouldn't have Chad Morris.
You wouldn't have had. I don't think you would have had.
You wouldn't have had Bielema. I don't think
you talk about an ultimate. You talk about an ultimate butterfly effect. I mean, it changes the course of history.
And I mean, again, hindsight's 2020. You can't go back and change it. Which, by the way, I would just like to state right now for the people, and I'm going to continue to say this until a coach is hired, whether it be a head coach or an offensive coordinator or an offensive line coach. Bobby Petrino cannot be rehired at the State of Arkansas for anything. For anything. He's not coming back. Gus Malzahn is not coming back. Houston Nutt. People are saying that the offensive coordinator is going to be Houston Nutt. Are you for real right now? Are you for real right now?
Oh my God, y'all stop.
Nutt has come
names,
out.
Y'all.
Nutt has come out publicly and said, "I am retired. I'm going to become I'm going to be a grandfather now. I'm going to go spend more time with my grandkids." Let that man retire in peace.
He has done his due diligence. Okay, let the man go be pawpaw. If that's what he wants to do, let the man go do it. He's earned that right.
Now let's shift gears for a second, because we still have a lot to break down as far as this football season is concerned. But one thing is glaring, and I put this out on Twitter. I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say it Wednesday night on our show if we get that opportunity. I swear to God, MC, if who I think we're fixing to hire becomes the offensive coordinator, I may lose my mind. Have you heard the name that's being thrown around? Jim Chaney.
Yeah, I can't buy that. I can't buy it. That's got to be somebody trolling.
Here's the deal. If Jim Chaney comes back to Arkansas, number one, have we not learned, again, I'll say it, have we not learned our lesson about bringing back old assistants? The 15 through 17 coordinator couldn't do it, so you went further back and thought, we can run Jim Chaney's offense again? He wouldn't any better. Hell, if you're going to hire Jim Chaney, I hear Chad Morris is looking for a job. Bring him on as quarterbacks coach. We see how that worked out.
Well, and then
Ben Pick 6 Hicks.
Oh God, the insurance.
Ring any bells?
On the flip side of that, I mean, I say there's no chance in Jim Chaney coming back, and I made this comment on social media earlier today. What offensive coordinator worth their salt that is a hot name like we're seeing thrown around. We're seeing the guy from UNLV. We're seeing his name out there.
Georgia Tech OC already told Hunter Yurachek, no.
Yeah. Why would they come here when there is a really good chance that in 9, 10, 11 months' time, you're going to be out of a job again? Nobody is going to come here. So you're going to end up with a Jim Chaney type or a Barry Lunny or, whoever the offensive equivalent is of a John Chavis, somebody that was once great, but the game has passed them by. That's what you're going to end up with. Because people can see what's going on here. They can see that 2024 is most likely going to be a lame duck season. I mean, it would not surprise me in the least to see like Travis Williams and some of the defensive guys who really, really earned their money this year, to see those guys jump ship and get off of the Titanic as it's going down.
I don't know if you've seen this, and I've only seen it in a couple of places, message board wise. But I've heard through unreliable people, Travis Williams is going to A&M.
I mean, if I'm him, I'm taking the difference in the 2022 defense and the 2023 and say, look, I helped orchestrate this, and I'm parlaying that into me some stability for a job, because right now, if you're on this Arkansas staff, there is no stability. And I hate to be that way, but facts don't care about your feelings, and that's where we're at right now. The fact is, anybody who's on this coaching staff has got to be concerned about their future.
So allow me to counter your argument.
Okay.
So you're of the stance that an established offensive coordinator won't come to Arkansas because it's a lame duck season.
Yes.
Based on what we've seen.
Right.
Okay. What if the OC that you bring in, all of a sudden and again, just hypothetical, never going to happen. What happens if you're 8-4, 9-3, or you pull a rabbit out of your hat and somehow miraculously go 10-2? Okay. Then what? I mean, now you're talking. I still don't think you ought to give anybody an extension.
Right.
But does that solidify Pitt another year? Okay. You don't have KJ. You've got Criswell.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And maybe, because we're going to get into this in a minute, maybe Malachi Singleton.
Maybe.
Because that's a whole nother mess in and of its own. But what happens then? Now you're sitting here going, okay, is the fan base happy, or does all of this going on right now just miraculously vanish, and then all of a sudden you start seeing fans go, Sam's the man again, or
to an extent, I think he really lost. He lost some of the fan base with the way last season ended. That loss to Liberty took some of the fan base out. This year took a ton of the fan base out.
Well, and I even said it last year that there's no reason. There was no reason why you took Kansas to 3 overtimes. No reason at all. You had the game won in the first quarter.
Yeah. There's no reason to lose to Liberty either.
Sorry.
But, it's just like this year. There's no reason to lose to BYU. I'm sorry. No disrespect to BYU. Arkansas should win. If you play that game 10 times, Arkansas should win 8 of them. I firmly believe that.
I think Frank Broyles was a fortune teller.
Yeah, he was.
Because now I see why he doesn't want Arkansas, or he didn't want Arkansas playing Arkansas State, because in 2025, if this keeps up, your Red Wolves are going to put a hurt on the Hogs.
Well, I mean, I'll say this, and again, I'm echoing something that I put on social media. If you look back to September and you see how Butch Jones and the season for the Red Wolves started out versus where it ended up, I mean, they started out, what was it, 73-0 against Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah. They got
and everybody
shellacked.
making fun of him for getting
Guilty.
emotional on the sidelines.
Guilty.
But you know what he did? He went back to work. He fixed it, and they're bowl eligible, and they're going to be going to a bowl. And right now, I think it's safe to say right now, he has a better long-term plan for success than Sam Pittman does.
You know, I don't know if you've ever watched a Butch Jones press conference since he's been at Arkansas State.
I've seen clips, yeah.
He has never once said, I don't know. He's come close. He's never once said, I don't know. But here's the thing. He's come close and he's kind of alluded to it. But the end of that sentence is, but I will figure it out.
Yeah. And that's
the
thing, man.
He has. Look at what he did to Texas State.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was at that game.
Mr. Pouty Face, my favorite player, the crybaby. And yes,
yeah, he didn't see the field that day either.
Yes. Zach, you've never publicly and personally attacked a player. When you act like he does, yes, I'm going to, because I'm calling his behavior out. But yes, Butch Jones, little brother's going bowling. When Arkansas State, no offense to Arkansas State, y'all are in the A-Sun or Sun Belt or
Sun Belt. Yep, Sun Belt.
When y'all have a better when Arkansas State has a better record than the biggest college in the state, something's not adding up. Now,
well, yeah. I mean,
here's one of the other points I want to make real quick. I know we're jumping around here, MC, but that's how we do things.
That's what we do.
Everybody wonders why we can't recruit. Everybody wonders why we can't get the best recruits or the great recruits or the stronger, or whatever adjective, adverb, whatever. Miss Armstrong's rolling over in her grave right now because I'm screwing up my English terms. I'm going to give you 2 words that will solve everything. Social media. Our fan base is toxic. Is so toxic, MC, that fans are now on a volleyball social media post shit talking the football team.
But is it really any worse than anywhere else? Or does it just seem worse because we are surrounded and enamored by Razorback Twitter?
Okay. So I get what you're saying. However,
right.
Nick Saban gets pissed off when they don't beat a team bad. He was mad as hell about the Iron Bowl, which, by the way, fantastic finish. Oh, my God. He was mad as hell at the Iron Bowl, okay? When he doesn't win by a comfortable margin, he's not happy. Look at Kirby Smart. Going for the three-peat. He is 3 games away from a three-peat. 4 games away. 3 games away from a three-peat. Yeah. The SEC championship, the playoff, and the national title game itself. He is 3, the magic number, 3 games away from 3-time national champion. They're the only, they 29 in a row, 29 straight.
That's insane.
You cannot tell me that we are not the only. Yes, everybody has their shit talkers, okay? But to tag recruits, to tag players, to tag family members of said players.
That's dumb.
Okay? And you wonder why we can't get recruits like an Arch Manning or a Kane Archer or...
Well, we can't even get the guys in our own state. The Walker White that's headed to Auburn. Courtney Crutchfield just decommitted. The kid from Pine Bluff, he just decommitted. Now, I think a lot of that had to do with the way this season has gone.
I think there was something more with Crutchfield because I think he was one of the ones suspended from that Pine Bluff fight.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know I'm pretty sure that you're correct on that, but I would have to
Don't
look
quote
back
me
at
on
it
that,
to see.
yeah. But that's again. Now it doesn't help that a player's mother publicly comes out and was praising Gus Malzahn and UCF. You know, and the fans were going, transfer, let it go. Blah, blah. Can we not just shut up? Because I
To answer
guarantee
that,
you,
no.
and I said this, and I said this the other day, okay? 99.999% of what's said on Twitter will never be said to that person's face.
Yeah.
Ever. Now, people are going to come at me and go, well, you said on Twitter that KJ needs to be benched. Yes, he needs to be benched because it gets his mind in check. But now you send him off on a bad note. Not only did we get blown out, but dude's got a leg injury now.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if we got an extent of it.
You know, the only thing that I remember seeing on it was Pittman said that he tried to come back. They were going to give him till halftime to work his way back into the game, and he wasn't going to be at full speed, and they didn't feel comfortable putting him back out there. But he didn't think it was anything that was and these are his words. He didn't think it was bad. So I'm guessing by not being bad, he means that nothing's torn or severely damaged, maybe more or less like a sprain. He said he hyperextended his knee, which
that's what it looked like. It didn't look like anything was broke or blown.
I thought he broke his leg. When I first saw it, I immediately texted my uncle and I'm like, KJ just broke his leg because it got tucked under, like you've seen.
And I thought it was broke too. From the angle that it showed, I thought it was broke too.
Yeah.
But that's primary reason. Recruits see what's posted on Twitter. Recruits see people tagging their families and shit talking and all this. And
I'll go a step further. I'll go a step further. Recruits see your head coach in the postgame saying, well, I didn't know what to do. And it scares the crap out of them.
Now, you want to know how I know that he's lost this locker room?
By Polar Express being on?
Well, that I'll never be able to look at that movie the same again.
It should have been A Christmas Story instead of Polar Express, but
no, it should have been National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Well, okay, that's fair.
I will sit here and argue with you on that.
I'll go with you on that. Yeah.
When you have immediately, not even an hour after the Missouri game, you had a player jump on a Missouri player's Instagram and go, open spots?
Yeah, that was bad.
Had I have been Sam Pittman, I'd have pulled that kid into my office and booted him off the team right there. If you're going to entertain going to another team that just blew you out, you are no longer a part of this team. Sorry.
Yeah, that would be justified in my book.
But I'm starting to agree with fans. Here we are 4 days later, and Cody Kennedy still has a job.
I don't think Cody Kennedy's going anywhere. I think as long as Sam is calling the shots,
that's
Cody is protected.
But that's the biggest issue I have with Sam Pittman. Okay, he's a good dude. All right, he's a good dude. All right, and I know he means well. But you can't be everybody's buddy. You can't be everybody's friend. Get in. I mean, F's blew several calls throughout the season, and he just stood there.
Do you think?
Oh, let's not even mention the fight on the field.
Yeah, and I saw more effort and spirit in that fight than I've seen all season long.
Y'all want to start fighting on the field, but you don't want to win a ball game. That tells me right there, zero discipline.
And say what you will about Drinkowitz, but I thought his comment was pretty funny. He's like, they came to fight, we came to win a ball game.
And
I thought that was pretty funny.
Their running back put 200 yards on the ground in one half.
Yeah.
One half MC.
We made, and now he was the SEC's leading rusher, but we made that dude look like Mike Allstott. There's a throwback for you. I mean, that dude was just running over, around, and through our defense.
Showing your age there, ain't you, MC?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, what? And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna stick to my guns on this. This is worse than when Morris was here.
See, I think we're in Morris territory, and I got.
Oh no, I think we're beyond. I think we're beyond Morris territory because at least they showed up and tried to and fought on the field. C.J. O'Grady against Colorado State, point blank. All right.
Well, and nobody will ever convince me that Ty Story wasn't giving his all when he was here. I remember what his jersey looked like after that Auburn game in 2018.
The boy took, and I'll say, the boy took a licking at War Memorial in 18 in midair. I heard it from I sat at the very top. Me and Katie sat at the very top of a very cold, very wet War Memorial Stadium. Oh my God. But we heard that hit like we were standing right next to it.
Oh, it sounded like a shotgun.
I mean, I don't know how it sounded on TV, but holy cow. But they gave effort. I can't say that much about the coach, but the team gave effort.
Well, okay. and I got blasted for saying that we were in Morris territory with Pittman. But when I went back and asked, I'm like, how is it? Tell me what's better.
Okay.
Yes, we won one SEC game this year. One's better than none.
This just reminded me of something, and we're going to catch hell for this if this gets out. And I don't care. Ty Richardson, he's starting to look a little right, isn't he? Chuck Barrett's starting to eat a little bit of crow.
A little bit.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't mind calling Chuck out. All right.
Chuck's a big boy. He's got broad shoulders. He can take it.
All right. I mean, again, the guy may be arrogant. He may talk down to people, but he's dead wrong. You cannot argue with me that we are better off now, because you said it a couple of shows ago. Had he come out and said, you know what, just won the Out Bowl, we're 9-3. It's time for me and Jamie to go to Hot Springs and kick back.
Yeah,
the guy there'd be a statue across the way from Frank Bros of this man.
Yeah, the guy would have been a legend. So what if you missed a previous show, you can go back in our archives and look for it. But on one of our previous shows, I had a theory, and of course hindsight's 2020, but I had a theory about Pittman that had he decided to retire after the Outback Bowl win, the man would have went down as a legend, because he had came in and in 2 seasons, restored the program to stable footing. Okay.
Now
you win 9 games, you win all your trophy games, you win the Outback Bowl over Penn State. If he walks away there and rides off into the sunset, then he's a legend. And not only is he a legend, but there is equity built up in the program to where you can go and chase a big name coach and entice them to come here.
The flip side to that, who was on that team? You remember? You had Bump.
Treylon Burks.
Yeah, well, Treylon didn't play. Remember, Treylon didn't play in that.
Oh yeah, he didn't play in the bowl game. That's right.
He didn't play in the bowl game.
Grant Morgan.
But yes, you had Treylon. What do all 4 of those guys have in common?
Oh, they're all Arkansans.
Well, yes, they're all Chad Morris's guys.
Well, yeah, that's an excellent point that I hadn't thought about.
So this O-line guru is not so much a guru anymore. Okay, because now we're starting to see. Number 2, can he actually recruit? Because these are all his guys except for KJ.
Yeah.
These are all of his guys except for KJ. You run off one of our best punters for chicken shit.
Careful, you'll cause a mental health crisis here.
No. Okay, no. It has to be said.
I agree.
The boy, and I can say this because they're about 20 years, 10, 15 years younger than me. The boy can nail him in pregame. from goal line, he hits the opposite 30, maybe the 25. You get him in a game time situation when there's big boys in his face, and he kicks a 25-yarder.
He starts hearing footsteps. And
Jacob Skinner.
Reed Bauer.
Jacob Skinner, please come back.
Reed Bauer over at Memphis just booming kicks.
Yeah, we're never going to hear the end of it from Bum, by the way.
Well, you know.
This was the year. Number one, there was a lot on the line here. Okay. Now, for the second straight year, Pitt hasn't won a trophy game for the second straight year. He didn't win. He hasn't won the Southwest Classic. He hasn't won the boot, and he hasn't brought the battle line home. Okay.
Unreal, man. Just crazy.
Again, Pitt's a good guy at heart, but he's not head coach material.
You know, but I'm not looking for a friend. I don't need a good guy. I don't need someone who, you know, that is
but the argument can be said the same thing about Nutt. Nutt was beloved. Look, we're 20-something years removed from him as head coach, and I will listen to him when he was on the Buzz this season, and I still will suit up and run through a damn wall for him. But Arkansas's middle of the pack. All right, you can't compete with a Georgia, you can't compete with a Bama, and you can't compete with the money from A&M. Okay,
that's stupid money. There, you're not going to compete with that.
So the NIL deal, that's a mess in and of itself. And then until there's a cap put on it and restrictions put on it, you're gonna continue. There's no loyalty anymore. And here's another thing that Pitt said: we want guys that want to come to Arkansas. You can't recruit like that anymore. You can't. You just can't.
College football's changed, and there's no loyalty to, you know, there's no guys that love that helmet anymore. There's no guy, and it's not just Arkansas. You go across the board, and if it's, I mean, you could even say the same thing about Alabama, Clemson, Georgia. They don't love the brand. They're not there for the brand. They're there to get paid and to win.
Look, you just named a program that it dawned on me a point that I wanted to make to you. Clemson. Look at what they're trying to do to Dabo.
Yeah.
He's got 2 national titles, and they're trying to run him out of town because he's not there this year.
Come on, Dabo. Come on. I'm not a fan, but I could be. If you can come here and win, I'm to that point, man. I'm to the point where I don't really care who it is. I don't care if they are, and I hate to use this analogy, but he's the only one I know of, a Petrino-style a-hole or a D-bag like I think Dabo is.
Can you imagine if and it's a long shot, if Dabo ever ended up here, the rivalry between Arkansas and Oklahoma, you've got the teacher and the apprentice.
Yeah.
Holy hell, son.
Well, and if you look before he got to Clemson, there were a lot of similarities between the Clemson program and the Arkansas program.
Oh,
prior to him getting there.
Yes. It takes the right coach, with the right attitude, and the program can be fixed.
Yeah.
But at the trajectory that it's going at this very moment, I watched that 8:30 on Monday night, November 27th, 2023. You're approaching the point where the program can be irreparably damaged.
You're DEFCON 5 right now.
DEFCON 1.
DEFCON 1. You're DEFCON 1.
People, it's a misconception, but that's another thing for another time. Let's talk coordinators here for a second. All right, seems to be a big talk of what's going on within the program right now. Everybody is throwing every kind of name out there. But I've settled on a guy that I want personally.
Okay.
All right. Dan Mullen. For a couple of different reasons.
I can get on board with him.
For a couple of different reasons. One, he coached one of my favorite players in the NFL. One superstar. Number 4.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott. He's got he's got an offensive background. He didn't do great at Mississippi State, but he did well enough.
Took him to number 1 in the country. I mean, a place
number
they had
2,
never been before.
Number 2, he got Sam Pittman into retirement. And y'all don't have to look very far at all for the next head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Okay. Now, it'd be kind of weird to hear Dan Mullen go, woo pig or go hogs or whatever.
If he's winning, I don't care. But
again, now, somebody threw a name out there at me the other day that I died laughing. But the more I think about it, the funnier it gets. And he does have Arkansas ties, believe it or not. Ed Orgeron. You'll have to pry him away from the Miami life.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting after the life he's been living the last couple of years. I don't think you're getting him back to the grind that is the SEC.
Can you imagine? Not to the tune of $17 million that LSU pays him. But can you imagine hearing him go, well, yeah, we'll pick, go home.
Yeah. That
it'd make for a hell of a press conference, that's for sure. It'd be like that dude from Waterboy. Hey,
that's about what it would be. I mean, but
if you want,
I don't know, man. I don't know where you go.
Here's my thing. You want to irreparably damage the program for the next decade. Go ahead. Hire Jim Chaney. Watch what happens. Hire Jim Chaney. Go ahead. Because I guarantee
the idea of Mullen. I mean, the more I sit here and think about it, the more I think about Jim Mullen, it makes sense. Well, I was just going to say the Mullen makes sense. He's got SEC experience. Let's not forget he was considered to be a quarterback whisperer at one time when he was OC. He was the OC for Tim Tebow.
Yep.
At Florida under Urban Meyer.
And how many national titles did they win?
2. 06 and 08, I believe.
Yep.
And then he had, Tebow won the Heisman. He goes to Mississippi State.
No. He was gifted the Heisman. That Heisman belongs to That's another story for another time.
Hey, that's another bonus content show that we could do and just rant forever on. But then he goes to Mississippi State as head coach, and it takes a little while to get it going. But once he got it going, man, he was rolling, and he took that program to heights it had never seen before. And that program is very similar to Arkansas. So
when Sylvester Croom was at Mississippi State, it was kind of in the state that Arkansas was in.
That I think it's fair to say that Sylvester Croom was their Chad Morris. They were terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can. Yeah. I just, you want to irreparably damage the program and you want to completely lose your fan base. Hire Jim Chaney. And hell, like I said at the beginning of the show, while you're at it, hire Chad Morris for your damn quarterbacks coach. Let's just blow the whole damn program to bits. Or better yet, put a dome on it and call it the new Bud Walton Arena. Because I guarantee you, Muss will sell that stadium out.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's got credit built up right now, it would be Muss. But, okay, so I want to throw this at you, and we can kind of use this to kind of wrap things up.
All right.
Is there any way that you can give any aspect of the football season a grade other than an F?
You cut out there. Ask that question again.
Is there any way, if you were going to put a grade, like a letter grade on the football season, is there any way to give it anything other than an F?
There is, but you have to look
positive,
at it. There is. There's a couple of them.
Okay.
Number one, Cam Little. Keep on keeping on, big man.
Yep. That please don't go to the portal. Please don't go to the portal.
Keep on keeping on, young man. That is my player of the season.
Yeah, has to be.
Because had it not been for him, these games would have gotten ugly. Kid's got a leg.
A lot of them got ugly anyway.
Defense was not terrible.
But they faded late.
Well,
do you think the defense quit?
The whole team quit. Okay, because up to the Auburn game, you never got blown completely out.
This is true.
Okay. When you hold top 25 teams to 7 to 10 points over the course of 4 games,
yeah,
you're saying something there.
All right. And those dudes are human too. I mean, they can see what's going on with the offense. They see the struggles.
Well, and we even said it halfway through the season, MC, that defense can only carry you so far.
Exactly.
And then when they're finally just going to say, you know what, F it, y'all can't do it. We're not going to carry you. Yeah, and that's why every phase of the game relies on the other phases. So your offense relies on your defense. Your defense relies on your offense. And your special team relies on both of them. It's a triangle. Okay? You can't have one without the other two.
That's very true.
All right. So your defense isn't that bad.
So would you give them a C?
I'd give defense a low C.
Yeah.
They'd get a C plus if they didn't quit at the end of the year. But I can understand. Yeah. But I understand why they quit.
Yeah, it doesn't make it right, but I do understand and I do kind of sympathize with them on it.
Special teams, like I said, Cam Little. If it was just Cam Little, A plus.
Yeah.
But with Max Fletcher doing whatever the hell he's doing.
Well, and then there were a lot of return yardage given up too on special teams.
Yeah. But that's also because Satania was now part of the actual offense plays and not just special teams. So he was probably just wore out.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about Satania. I'm talking about when we would.
Oh, you're talking about coverage, kick coverage.
Yes, coverage.
Oh, yes.
Yes, kick coverage.
Yes, absolutely.
Lot to be desired there.
Offense. There's nothing positive you can say about it.
On offense,
Raheem Sanders quit on you. Armstrong did his best to be your top receiver. KJ
was running for his life the whole year.
I think KJ finally just said to hell with it.
I would agree.
He tried. The young man tried.
Yeah. But I mean, when you're running for your life or getting hammered every single play of every single game, it's going to take a toll mentally as well as physically. So,
and the running game was never there ever.
Well, and it all begins up front. It's the same reason that KJ never had any protection.
Well,
it starts up front.
We're talking about all this portal. Who's in the portal? Like Pooh Paul entered the portal earlier today,
right?
Which is a major hit to this defense. Major hit. I expect, a couple of walk-ons not to hit the portal.
Yeah.
Some backups to hit the portal, but you never expect an all SEC starter to hit the portal.
Yeah, that one hurts.
If KJ doesn't use his last year, because he's got one more year left.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't come back, or if he goes to the draft, I hate to say it, he's going to go undrafted. He's because of this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
He lost what draft stock he had.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. But because of the way the season went, he lost his draft stock. All right.
Yeah.
Raheem Sanders, he'll be a dust in the wind because he won't get drafted either. I hate to say that because early on in the season we were talking first round for both of them.
Yeah, I mean it was with the hype that was around those guys. I mean it wasn't just us talking about it. It was all across the board.
But if KJ transfers out, that right there tells you everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
That will be the telltale sign. Isaiah Augustov.
Yeah, the freshman.
The freshman got a bright future if we can get a line to protect him.
Well, and who's to say that he won't be enticed to go to the portal?
Jacoby Criswell, same thing. The kid's good, but let's see how he does line to actually protect him.
Yeah.
There's
so much unknown,
hard.
man. It's hard to even try to guess.
I got to take a page out of Pittman's book, but I don't know, dude.
Well, I mean, that seems to be the going thing to say when, for an answer is, I don't know. Should I do the little hand motion with it and say, somebody else?
13 to 17, you had, we're close.
Oh God, I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah.
From 18 to 20, from 18 to 20, you had. Well, we've only got 30% of the offense installed, and now you have whatever the hell. Now you have I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You stood up in front of the fan base 4 years ago and said the days of Arkansas being a national embarrassment are over.
Here we are again.
I want my money back because you damn lied to me. All right. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know. Oh shit, I don't know.
But we're not paid to know.
We're not paid at all. If anybody would like to start paying us, hey,
we can make that happen. But we're not paid to know what's going on.
I mean, I tried to watch football over the weekend after the Razorbacks played. I got halfway through Saturday and I couldn't do it.
I watched some.
I flipped on like Michigan, Ohio State.
I watched pretty much all of that one.
I watched the Iron Bowl. I watched the Iron Bowl in its entirety. But
yeah,
other than I couldn't. I've never lost interest in college football ever. I left the and I sat through the Morris years, dude.
Yeah,
I never left there, even when Western Kentucky just completely outran us. I don't know, but hey, I know you're happy though because the Must Bus is in town.
Yeah, we're in hoops now, man, and everybody's freaking out. Everybody, calm down. We're gonna be all right.
Oh yeah, everybody calm down. Now, I will say his last note. The Duke game Wednesday night kind of lost its luster, but
a little bit, but it'll still be fun.
We're going to talk about that Wednesday night on a special pregame show in lieu of our regularly scheduled show. We are doing a Duke pregame show prior to tip-off. 8:15 is tip-off. I think our show will do 7:30 to 8. Just nothing too long, nothing too terrible. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever you got to do to keep up to date. This is the first of many pod exclusives where you cannot find it anywhere else other than our podcast. Amazon, Apple, Radio
Spotify, Radio Public, pretty much any major outlet with the exception of Google. We're even on iHeartRadio. So
Google's still acting like Dan Eno's joke love affair.
When it comes to getting it on Google, I have to quote Sam Pittman. I don't know what the problem is because everything else works.
And he's actually tried. He really
I tried to fix it, and it's just not.
Make sure you guys tune in Our show is moving. We don't know where it's moving to yet. As far as day of the week, we're kind of looking at the basketball schedule, to see where it would actually fit for us. Make no mistake, ITHP is not going anywhere. But Wednesday, 7:30. This week is 7:30, and then catch us back on our regularly scheduled 7 o'clock. Unless we post it sooner, maybe 6:30, depending on what's going on. But make sure you tune in. Check out MC, myself, and Sarah Hambone Vogel. I can't call her Swish anymore. She's earned that title.
No, she's Hambone now. Yeah.
But until next time, for Marcus, MC, Carlton, I'm Razorback Zach. Thank you guys for listening tonight on our 2023 football wrap-up. We will see you next time.